Hi guys, I'm an Australian guy and I'm living here in Belarus. And when I say guys, I mean 91% guys and 9% women, according to my YouTube analytics. And I'm here in the city of Brest. I have literally just arrived at the train station, just over there, plonked my backpack in my hotel, just in there. And eyes are gonna go for a stroll around town. It is on a beautiful, warm July evening, late July evening, and it is absolutely beautiful, nice and sunny. It's around 7 p.m, so it's kind of dinner crowd at the moment. I'm going to go for a walk up here, and I'll just zoom you in a little bit. Zoom in a bit. Just got to remember when I turn this camera around to zoom it back out again, otherwise you'll be looking at my nostrils. We'll go for a wander up here, and then we'll turn into Sovietsky Street, which apparently is the street to go to here in Belarus. So you see, there's a lot of these kind of, you know what, I might even just jump over here. There's a lot of these kind of, what would you call them? Almost like a median strip, but flowered and blah, 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 with lots of chairs to hang out in. It's a very Soviet kind of thing. So you can see here, it's kind of like a park, and a lot of people just kind of hanging out in the park. I'll walk up. Actually, it might be hard for me to get back on the sidewalk, so I won't walk up too much. I'll just let you guys see a little bit here. I see how the sun's kind of cutting over the angle. You can get the idea of it. People chilling out, guy there texting his wife, telling her that he's doing some overtime. Guy there doing whatever. A couple of old ladies there having a bit of a chin wag, as we say in Australia. All right, let's continue on. I'll come back to the original side here that I was on. So yeah, I just arrived in Brest today. Now, Brest is kind of interesting, and it just makes you realise how political the world is, because when you come here, and like I'm looking on the map, right? I'm following my little blue dot on the way down, and it's like, gee, I've got a fair way of the way down to Warsaw, right? A fair way of the way down to Warsaw. And when you look at Brest, it's in this kind of funny spot. It's kind of, it almost looks like geographically, like it should almost be a part of Poland or something, you know? It's kind of that far south. And of course, if you know your history, Brest itself has a fairly large ethnic Polish proportion with a lot of blood mixing and so forth. You no doubt know that this part of Belarus was part of the Lithuanian Polish or Polish-Lithuanian Empire for several centuries, I believe. So you had a lot of mixing in there. And of course, when the Germans came in, I mean, people moved around a bit. So you can see this was really made for a crowd. The old Soviets, they made it for a crowd. But things are pretty quiet. Summer's a funny time in the cities because, you know, people go on holidays, don't they? People go to their dachas. Oh man, half the people I know here are in their dachas at the moment. Just chilling, picking strawberries. A couple of Davushki there having a bit of a chit chat. Oh, they get up just as I start speaking about them. And there's another one there with their bicycle, Velocipede. Young boy over there with his bicycle. So yeah, Brest is the third biggest city in Belarus, I believe, by population, after Minsk, of course, and Gomel is not usually on people's tourist kind of radar, Gomel, but it's the second biggest in terms of population, over closer to Kiev there, and it definitely has very much a Soviet vibe, whereas Brest is, I'm kind of liking it so far. I'm digging it. These second-tier cities in general in Belarus are pretty nice, I have to say. Pretty nice. I'm with them. I'm feeling them. See a lot of people just kind of hanging out in the middle there. It does provide a nice area to hang out in. Although, of course, you know, ex-communist countries, you know, people aren't very, what would you say, engaged with each other. It's one thing you look at. Communism does break up communities quite well. It does give a sense of overall nationalistic pride. This is for sure and certain. But but definitely divides people and separates them and breaks down communities, breaks down social connections. And you tend to find that people, certainly in this part of the world, don't have many friends, to be fair, and have small families, don't have many friends. So there's not a lot of people to sit around with. There's a couple of, I won't call them babushki, I'll call them zhenshini. There's one thing you don't want to do is call a woman of a riper vintage a babushka if it's prematurely so. Oh, I think I spot a little garden in here. I'm just going to wander in this random block of apartments. Oh no, I thought we had a little bit of a... Oh, we have some flowers. Oh no, I thought there was a bit more there. Thought it was some kind of a little garden, infrastructure garden there, with some cucumbers and tomatoes in this kind of caper. So yeah, Brest is the third biggest city by population here in Belarus, and it's, yeah, geographically it's weird thinking that I'm literally about 4 kilometers from the Polish border, but I can't cross it. And these two countries, Poland and Belarus, they've got a bit of a beef that's been heating up for quite a few years now, which is, you know, what do you do? Some of that Savoy, some of that takeaway coffee. I reckon we can go one more. Gee, it's really empty streets, isn't it? Really empty streets. Now, of course, this isn't, I mean, it is dinner time and most people are home during dinner time, and of course we're not on the main restaurant street either, so I guess you expect it to be a little bit quiet. Got some producti there. Productly. Gee, it's looking a lot like Minsk in these buildings. This looks a lot like Minsk with your usual Apteka, which you probably know is a very common chain of pharmacy. Here we go, we found a bit of a cool little coffee shop here. That for a free plug. So Cafe. I wonder how many people type that in, searching for it. It looks like a bit of a cool kind of spot there. There's quite a few young people around. There's something I kind of look for. See that pet friendly. It's amazing how the trends just get gobbled up so quickly. The whole pet friendly one's definitely one of those. This would be perfect. Again, this trend of having English words and using Russian characters, perfect, is a growing trend. So what's going on in there? Not much. All right. Oh, look at this church. Oh my goodness. We got some bankroll here. It's amazing. I mean, you know, Belarus in general is in very good repair, of course, but the churches here are in very good repair. Very good repair, the churches, inside and out, as a general rule. It's certainly a cultural thing, and I mean, yeah, it's not really, well, it's technically a Christian country, but, you know, if you look at the proportion of people that actually go to church, I mean, it wouldn't be much more than a few percent. So whether you call that Christian or not, I mean, it's probably got a Christian base to its morality, much like my country would, but not identifying as. So I reckon this might be, there you go, Sovietskaya. This is our target. I'm not sure which way to go. Looks like it gets quieter that way. So I reckon we'll, oh, I wonder what that is. Well, that might be a greenhouse of some sort. Just checking out the gates there. I reckon I might not be able to get in unless the gate's shut there. But you know what, let's just go have a bit of a squizzy, because we're here and we might as well have a look. Some kids there playing with some water. Oh, great summer fun. Great summer fun. Alright, so our goal is this place, which I do get this feeling is a greenhouse, which is such a wild guess. What a freaking random wild guess, greenhouse. But it's giving off those vibes a bit. Let's check it out. Oh wow, look at this. Sorry to get all ADD on you guys, but that's the initial church that we spotted just a few minutes ago, and this is of some size, it has to be said. Look at that. Wow. I mean, I don't know how old this one is. I know the one in Grodno that I was hanging out in a bit, that was quite old. I've got some Turkish dudes. Stop the leash. Yeah, that was about 300 or so years old. I don't know how old that one is. But you imagine the labour involved in making this kind of a building. You know, I don't know when this one was made exactly, but if it's like the one in Grodno, which, you know, is kind of the same region here. Grodno is a bit north of us here in Brest. That was built, I think, in the 17th century. Yeah, shut already. Zimny Sad. Alright. Yeah, to be able to build this church, could you imagine getting up there as a human being in the 17th or 18th century? Again, just guessing about the build date of this. Getting up there, and I wonder what the occupational health and safety things would have been like back in those days. I mean, in Australia, I mean, if anything happens at all, I mean, everyone just walks off the job. You know what I mean? Like, if it just starts to rain or something, all right, we're putting tools down for 2 days. See you later, guys. We're going to the pub. That's kind of OHS culture in Australia. All right, I'll stay on this side, get a bit of sun. Might be a bit glary for the camera, but I'm enjoying the sun. So we're just trying to get to the front of this church here. No doubt you guys can work out which church this is by where I've walked. Right, that must be, goodness. Let me do a bit of an estimate for you guys. Yeah, 2 there, 10. What's that? It's 40 metres, potentially 50 metres tall. Yeah, I'd say 45 to 50 metres tall there. Quite a good sized ground. Yeah, it does perplex me a bit that there are so many large churches, but it's not really a religious society. Although I do notice people do have church stuff or Jesus stuff in their houses often, but then don't actually kind of follow it or actually go to church. Because for me, to qualify as religious, I would have to say that you got to go to church, right? If you're not going to church on the reg, you can't really call yourself religious. I mean, it's a random, arbitrary line to draw, but that's probably where I draw it. To really call yourself, well, I'm Christian just cause, That's a library. Again, very well maintained, well painted. It's really, a friend of mine's just snuck over the border to Norway, of all places. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. We're a bit too confrontational here. Let's chill out, and he's sending me videos of Oslo, and it's a freaking dump. Like, really, the syringes, the druggies, the filth and crap everywhere. Like, he's just like, what the hell, mate? And that's just today. He's sending me those videos, and I'm comparing it here to Brest, and I'm like, give me Brest any day of the week. Of course, you can see just, I'm sure you guys got brains, you can work things out for yourselves, but I'll just give a little bit of my input. You look at the cars, you can see the cars are generally a bit older, so disposable income here is not high. Based on that, skid key, 30% skid key, baby. Oh yeah, skid key is the discount. Skid key, 30%. Oh, this is a nice little bakery. I've got to think about getting food tomorrow, actually. Oh, that's good. Здравствуйте. Skidka, сейчас. Oh, wow. Вкусный. Oh, this looks good. This is vishnya. Vishnya. Alright. Yeah. Oh, this is caramel.
Сгущенка.
Сгущенка.
Сгущенка, да.
Alright. Можно один?
Конечно.
Да. Живот большой. Это проблема.
А другу или подруге?
Oh, yeah.
Будете кушать, он...
What do you reckon, guys? Should I go for it? She's selling me pretty hard.
Посмотрите, какая красота.
Oh, yeah, that looks good. That chocolate. Oh, yeah.
Один?
This is good. Один, спасибо.
Нет, один.
Один. Может быть, завтра. No.
Хорошо.
Сколько? 151. Что?
Сейчас скидка. Это будет дешевле.
Oh wow, so it's only going to be like $1.10.
Поэтому я говорю вам, берите два. Идите сюда.
Ценимации.
Минус 30%.
Oh, yeah.
Рубль 6.
Oh wow. 1 ruble and 6 kopek. That's amazing. One. Oh, there's some here. Maybe no. Oh, it's got so many coins here. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah. Хорошо. Alright. Спасибо.
Приятного аппетита.
Alright. I have to say, I love a bit of hustle. I'm the most gullible person. You just, all that wasp, oh my goodness. I'm the most gullible person. Just put me in front of someone and just let them sell to me and I'll just buy it. Like, oh yeah. Oh, I don't know why. I'm a bit soft, I think. Alright, yeah, as I was saying, so I'll slowly enjoy this. Give me a moment to both hold the camera and I forgot what she called it. It's been a long day, I tell you what. My brain, I was trying to talk with her then and my brain is just like, it's been a long day, I tell you. I've come up on the train today and done a few things, had class. So you can see from the cars, yeah, not a huge amount of wealth. The incomes won't be as high as Minsk, obviously. You don't have that whole abundance of, so we've got a little bit of a, stick my head in here. Oh yeah, a bit of a super, what do you call it, a bit of a department store shopping centre thing there. Pretty typical. Looks like one of the ones in Gomel actually. Yeah, this is just bread with caramel. Oh, it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful little town. Little town, he says, for a place with a couple 100,000 people. But, it's really nice. It's a very chilled vibe. I'm just waiting to turn the corner and find a whole lot of people. Maybe just zoom me back in again. Get a bit more attention. Get a bit more detail of people walking past and of shops and so forth. But yeah, it's definitely clean. Well kept. It's got those classic safe Belarus vibes. And the caramel is very sladky. Fortune sladky. So I reckon we would be getting up to sounds like some kind of dance class up there. Maybe we'll try and go up there. Let's try and work out what it is. Oh, yuck. You hear those squeals? Alright, let's see what we can find. I was hoping it was a bit more obvious read what to do here, because they're up kind of here. I think they're up in that. There's no signs, so I'll just go up here and just see what happens. Hope no one growls at me too much. They're rentable. It smells like paint. I probably shouldn't walk in. Sometimes I get a little too cocky. I'm aware that I shouldn't stick my big nose in too far. And what's going on there? I might just come back down here and check it out. Oh, nice normal shop. Alright. That was a bit of a letdown. Well, let's continue. Excuse me. Continue on. This is so good but so bad. Oh man. It's like pure sugar but it's delicious. So this looks like we're about to hit the main area. Oh, damn it. From my experience in life, following music like that is a good idea. I wonder, oh, this could be entrance here maybe. It's just kind of a blank entrance. Probably not. Alright. Well, I'm going to take a bet and say that this is kind of our main spot here. Let's just take a stroll over. Of course, wouldn't be Belarus without these things. I reckon this is our main little kind of mall-y part. This is the best place for Lubitelli. But this isn't quite it yet. I think this isn't quite it yet. Yeah, even the bins are kind of nice. The bins are like upside down bell, rather than some piece of ugly green plastic. Yeah, I'm waiting for the centre, but maybe I've passed it. This is definitely the centre, I'd say. They've got a few seats and a bit of grass. Oh yeah, there's quite a crowd up here. Must be some restaurants. Is this where the density of restaurants seem to be on the map? Like, that's typically what I'll do if I'm going to do a video like this in a place I've just arrived. Just type in restaurant and wherever the greatest density of them are, just kind of go there and see what's going on. So we've got the same curse of the one-child family down here in Brest. That's what I'm seeing. Oh, there's two here. Well done, sir. Actually had two. You're champion. Very fertile. Good for him. Right, there's a couple of kind of fancy restaurants over there. One of these mist things here to keep people nice and cool in the summer months. Здравствуйте. Hello. That was funny. He said hello. I said здравствуйте. Здравствуйте. Then one said привет. I said hello. Oh, she's getting quite wet. Oh, careful, careful. Whoop. So, looks like it keeps going down here. Just make myself around these guys. Looks like we got a little bit. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hello, Danik.
Good.
Twitch, my love. Hello.
Where is the most people in Brest? Где больше занят место, улица? Is this? Да, хорошо. Спасибо. Alright, let's keep going. Пока-пока. До свидания. Let's go across here.
Brest, very beautiful.
It is beautiful. Yeah, I like it. Thank you. This place I saw. This place might be my dinner spot, actually. I was just playing around on Google Maps before, just in the last 10 minutes before I arrived. And this place looked like it had a good menu. Some good pizzas. Lovely moment. So maybe it's got some good pizzas here. So these are, so the average pizza's around maybe 20. Should be around $8 US. That's pretty cheap for this kind of place here. everyone's chilling. Has to be said. It's a very chill vibe, very family, lots of kids. What I really like about this kind of situation is the multi-generations. So you got the kids, you got the teens, you got the couples, you got the older people as well. Like everyone's just kind of mixing, rather than having like a kind of segregated, like age segregated city like you tend to have in the West, or a quote unquote stage of life segregated city like you have in the West. It's a lot nicer to have everyone around. It's a lot better. Excuse me. So we'll keep going. Oh, there's quite a few people down here. Oh, we'll keep kind of drifting down then. Got your usual kind of printed Western Bob Marley, Kurt Cobain kind of stuff. I definitely noticed that you don't have... Alright, I'm just going to say it. You don't have any thoughts. I'm not seeing thoughts. I'm seeing this dude though. Look at that, jamming. There's no thoughts. Because you do get this, I just literally made a video then, I haven't released it yet of course, but I just filmed it then, talking about, I guess, sexualization of girls and competition between girls in a post-feminist society where they tend to compete hard, as opposed to a patriarchal society where women aren't allowed to compete based on sexual appearance. Or it's generally discouraged or outright outlawed. But yeah, you definitely don't have that thought level. These guys get into it too. It's Hanson. It's quite a crowd actually. At the start I was like, what am I even filming? But Brest is on fire now. So you got some little souvenir shops there. Literally says souvenirs in English actually. Oh, and Russian. So I don't know what's going on now, but I know that this part of Belarus actually has a different kind of visa system. Because I met this guy, this was so funny. I shouldn't really be telling this story, but this guy had tried to abuse me basically, but I kind of shut him down really nicely. English guy, old English guy. Because apparently this part of Belarus has a different visa system. It has like the normal visa system, but also, alright, we'll keep going straight. This kind of visa system that you can just kind of enter in a lot more laxly, is my understanding, without the usual rigmarole. If you just want to come here or just miss the lights there, so I'll just do a little bit of a walk up here, show you what's there. So yeah, I think that this part of Belarus has a looser, a looser visa situation. So maybe it's easier for Europeans to come in here. Possibly. Pretty quiet down there. It's pretty quiet. But it's so spread out, isn't it? That's the thing. It's so spread out. It's made for walking. It's made for walking. Alright, we get across here. Green man in place. And we'll continue strolling. Oh, look at that monster. Oh man, when's that from? 60s Lada. Oh mate. Makes living worthwhile. And of course, KFC. Oh, that's what those teenagers there that we were talking to about 10 minutes ago. Sure enough, there's some kind of internal homing device in teenagers worldwide to want to flock to KFC. Oh, this looks really busy down here. Domfani? 1895. I don't know if that's true. It's funny, one of the chocolate brands here has established 1905 on its packet. It looks really fancy and official and whatever, and My friend here's like, no, they just made that up. Everyone knows it's BS. Which kind of makes sense. I see quite a few outdoory, kind of typical outdoory restaurants, quite a few here as well. So there is some competition when I decide to sit down on my butt and consume some food.
Where are you from?
There it is. Ah, I'm from Australia. Yeah, it's good. Are you live in Brest? No, on holidays.
Belarus.
Mhm.
Но не отсюда, короче. Minsk.
Oh, you live in Minsk? Oh, I came from there today.
Like?
Oh yeah, this is very nice. Yeah, it's very peaceful and calm. I like it. It's good. Thank you. All right, missed a couple of places. So there's quite a few people out and around having a beer. Oh, they got beer towels here. A few of the boys. I actually just saw some heads around there. I won't hit those guys up. Because you can tell with his chucker hat and his beard, that bloke, that he's a Westerner. So this has... yeah, whatever. There you go, little ice cream store here. Marojanowi. That's just this kid getting around, having a great time. Look at that, only $1.75. This guy's ready for action. Yeah, that one kid thing. It's a real thing here. No wonder because you see the birth rate, like it's bloody low here, right? Like it is everywhere. But here it's really low. 1.4 per woman, which is crazily low. Especially when you consider the government incentives here. The government incentives here to have children are high. High. Very high. What's going on here? Some doves just chilling out. Alright, let's check out this fountain. Oops, let's see. It's funny because when you're filming, people are very considerate of you and try not to walk in front of you and try to walk behind you. But I'm also being considerate. I'm trying to leave a smaller footprint as possible as I'm walking around, because obviously I'm drawing attention to myself at the best of times. But what that ends up doing is making me collide with lots of local people as I'm trying to walk around. Oh, she's in. Yeah, chuck her in. He went soft. There's pizza and gelato. Again, that's just a classic Russian characters, although this is the accepted way of writing pizza here, of course. And then gelato, although this the D sound is actually for a J, but then I guess the G in gelato really sounds more like a J than a G, right? It's not like gelato. So it makes sense if you spelled that way. These guys would be local. I wouldn't mind picking some tourists out. If I can back my eye in a little bit, pick out some tourists and try to see what they're up to. Because that was a random pick. That guy just started speaking to me. Oh, where did he go? But if you're going to get a mixed crowd, this would be your city, I reckon. Wow, look down here. Oh, it is pumping. Let me get a bit of a zoomed in shot for you. It is happening. Oh, there's your Kino Theatre. What mix of, yeah, mainly American. Oh, no, some Russian. Could you do Indiana Jones? There you go. Because I think if they were to play like full on, you know, quote unquote, you know, this woke term, it's just, I wish I could get away from politics, but it's following me everywhere. Yeah, there you go. Kolesa, Wheel of Sotheby. What that means? Kolesa. This is Wheel. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Wheel. Sotheby. Maybe this is a new one. They're doing remakes. I don't even know. My head is just so out of Western pop culture. It probably is just a new one. Because he's looking pretty old there, isn't he, the old boy? That's not the same Indiana Jones from the 80s and 90s, so it probably is. Oh, there you go, tuk tuk. Now, my apologies if that is actually a modern film, which I suspect now it is. Because the point I was trying to make before the whole thing got turned on its head, was that you do see some older films being played here, and I think it's because the youth market doesn't have the appetite quite for the more hardcore, quote-unquote, woke, this stupid name given to kind of left-wing political movies. There's a lot more like flowery dresses like that. That's what I'm seeing here. A lot more flowery dresses. Здравствуйте. But still a lot of green hair and stuff too.
Смотрим, сколько минут так, что вам желает.
What you do notice is the groups of youths are getting bigger. Whereas the oldies have like one friend, where the teenagers are hanging out in bigger groups. It's becoming a narrative. As the society becomes warmer, the post-communist society becomes a bit warmer. So I wouldn't mind just sitting having a coffee actually. Oh wow, look at those prices. It's $1 for a cappuccino. Oh, goodness. Is there a spot for me out there? There is. Getting a bit sick of walking. What are we up to? 36 minutes? I'll give you another $5. So I have a feeling there's still something to come up here because it's still pretty thick foot traffic. Yeah, I'm a big social observer. I like to pay attention to what people are wearing, how they're behaving. I think this gives you a lot of clues as to what's happening in a society. There's definitely less tattoos down here. You can see that girl's got quite a few tats on her. There's definitely less tattoos and less of this kind of pink, purple, green kind of hair. Which, you know, at the end of the day does, signal some kind of... does, that kind of behaviour does tend to signal some kind of, trauma, usually. Although, because Belarusians are quite image conscious, a lot of that here might just be kind of copying, and not necessarily trauma related, but it probably still is in reality. Well, there you go. So it looks like a guy who fixes shoes. So now good, question mark. The old shoes and Horchish, do you want this good? Interesting. That is something. I actually had a couple of mates who have had like good quality shoes resold here, like sold as in the sole of the shoe, and are excruciatingly happy with the job. And it's something that never even occurred to me. I'm kind of caught up in the Western consumer, throw it out, buy another one, keep that economy strong kind of vibes. But here they do some resoling, this kind of stuff. So we've got a couple of mates that shop in secondhand stores here. And they're probably two guys that are separate from each other, but two guys that probably don't need to, quite frankly, but they just kind of do. They like the different styles. But I actually, when I went to India for a wedding last year, you may recall this, about this time last year, maybe May actually, of last year, and I didn't know what to wear because I had kind of clothes from here. And I'm like, I knew I was going to be like in the village. I didn't want to stand out too much, so I bought just some kind of like plainy clothes. So I went to a secondhand store, and in the secondhand store, they actually charge you for clothes by the kilo. I'm like, what is this? At the market. There you go, 20 metres to a casino. Is a bit of a problem here. I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of casinos. I don't think they bring much to a society. Probably work out other ways to spend your time and money. A bit of an unfortunate thing. But they're here for tourists apparently. They get a lot of Russian tourists, and this looks like, I reckon it's a Russian tour bus. These old ladies here, almost certainly I reckon. Oh yeah, there's a whole lot of them. They're Russian tourists. Although it is a bit of a hike. But when I went to, you know how the people around this part of the world have those resorts? I went to a resort last year, kind of on the way to Grodno, and it was 80% Russians in there. So they do get to this side as well. Alright, well I might almost... it looks like it's going to end us up here. I'll get to the end here and see a little red traffic light. So I'll walk up to here. This gives you a pretty good feel. Summer Brest, it's just a nice vibes. People are happy, people are chilled, people are wandering. Just nice vibes. Got another a mist door thing. I reckon, should we walk through it? We'll walk through it with the camera, see what happens. I dare say it's going to get a little bit sprinkly. Hopefully not too much. Alright, ready? Alright, let's do this. Ooh. You can barely even tell. I was expecting some kind of wetness on the lens, but I don't see any wetness on the lens. Let me check that. A little bit. Let me wipe it off for you. Look at that. Ooh, crikey. Alright. Yeah, I can see the end here. I'll just go another minute or so. Oh wow, I can smell those. What's she selling? Some... Oh, there's one of these Odessa's in Dana Mall. Obviously named after the seaside town in Ukraine. And famous. These girls are trying to stir me up a bit. No. Alright, here's another kind of nicey outdoory Italiano style pizzeria. And that's the end. So I might reverse and find a coffee shop, chill out a bit. Find a coffee shop, sit down, maybe find something meaningful to eat. There's certainly no shortage of pizzas here, so I reckon I might have a go at a pizza. It's kind of funny when you go to an alternate town in Belarus. It's like, well, I've eaten everything that Belarusians eat 100 times. So when you go to a new town, it's like, oh, you want to try their food. Like if you go to a new country, it's like, well, let's try what it's like here, you know. But of course here it's like, well, although people are telling me the borscht changes a lot from place to place, but can I be honest with you guys? Just between me and you, I'm not a huge fan of borscht. In fact, I think it's really shit. I have to be honest. It's not my choice, but this is life. Alright, I'll take you guys. There's some Kataisky tourists. Oh, they're probably down here. Same reason I am, to get a visa. That's why I'm down here, by the way. I'm down here because the Minsk Russian embassy doesn't work. Nothing's happening down there. You go, but you can't get in. This is a worry. There's no appointments, there's nothing. It's just, we don't do anything anymore. Go to Brest. So here I am. Tomorrow morning at 7 in the morning, fighting with those Chinese students for all the visas. It's funny because I've mentioned this before, the Chinese student hoarding. 10 of them might get down there and take 100 tickets for the day, and then their friends will just show up whenever they feel like it. And there's different ways around this. I'm more of a believer in befriending people rather than conflict. Hey, again. Woo.
Where are you from?
Australia. Oh yeah, Russia. What was I saying? Yeah, I'm more of a fan of befriending people and getting your way that way. So that's what I've done in the past, is befriend the Chinese that are hoarding all the tickets, pick the one that looks the most Western and talk to him. It's real. Whereas a mate of mine was just saying, his American mate, he's a pretty laddie kind of a bloke. He just saw him doing it and then just didn't let the girl go in the cabinet being the word for office here. he just pushed the girl to the side, or nudged her to the side and pushed in front of her and went inside before her. The girl who had taken a ticket from someone else while he'd been waiting, and she just rocked up to get the ticket. He's like, no, fuck that, mate. I'm going in. Whereas I'm more of a, work out how to massage your way in. Keep those smiles on your face. Keep people on your side. I think it's a better strategy for all concerned. Especially when you're in a country that's not yours. And you're not too sure how different behaviour will be taken. Although if it's with another foreigner, you kind of feel a bit safer. If it was to come to some kind of more aggravated kind of conflict than with the local. With the local, you just wouldn't, I think. But with another foreigner, if it came to that, I guess you could. Well, I'd feel safer doing it anyway. But again, you don't want to be making too much of a scene. That's very culturally inappropriate. Alright, time to find some food. I reckon I might sit down and chill, actually. There's a couple of kids, good. Whenever I see 2 kids, I'm like, well done, mate. Good job, son, brother. Alright, everybody. That's enough for me. What did we get out? 45 minutes. Good session. Alright, depending what happens tomorrow with the train timetable and whatever else, I may have a bit of another walk around. If not, I hope you enjoyed what you saw of Brest.